imagine all those elements, they depend on individual skills. Now, if one player making a good move to the gap and in the right moment passes the ball to the second one, if the second one may come around him and shoot, which is a type of individual action too, then they can have a nice crossing. So the basis for all those types of cooperation are the individual skills. And again, on the team level, which will be our topic tomorrow, we can see that, first of all, individual skills are important, because in every conception, tactical conception and attack, from a certain point on, individual decision-making is needed. So we depend on the individual qualities, and cooperation and combination of different types of cooperation are part of that, or can be part of that team conceptions. So that's why we have this three-step or three-floor level model of the pyramid in this picture. Now, if you see handball on top international level, you can get the impression that the team level is not so important anymore. So very complex combinations or conceptions in attack, 5, 4, or 6 players involved, you don't see them so much anymore. And from my point of view, this is easy to understand why. At least there are 2 reasons. First of all, the more players involved, the more mistake or options for mistake or chances for mistakes. So if we have 4, 5, or 6 players involved, maybe one is not running. The other one is running in a wrong moment. The next one is running in the wrong direction. So in a conception where all the movements of the players, movement of the players on the court, passing, ways, and so on, must be organized and well coordinated, then a single mistake can be the reason why the conception fails. So less people or less players involved is a chance for less mistakes. More people involved makes it more complex, and more mistakes can happen. Second is that very many teams in defense, they use now match analysis, especially by video. They can prepare themselves. They can analyze what are the preferred moves, the preferred conceptions of the opponent's team. And in that moment, it's easy, maybe with individual action in defense, stepping out in a position to just destroy or kill this conception before it starts. So that's why very many teams, they don't focus on so complex conceptions anymore, but they go back to the cooperation level, 2 or 3 players involved. Because on one side, this level, you cannot make so many mistakes because not so many players involved. On the other side, from the pushing parallel, from the crossing, from the give and go, and from the screen, you have different options how to solve the situation at the end. So that's why there's a good mix of options and opportunities, depending on the reaction of the defense on one side. And on the other side, not too much players involved, so that the number of mistakes or the probability for mistakes is not too high. This is one of the preconditions in our structure we have for the attack and the cooperation, as the medium level is very important. The other precondition we need to talk about again is the basic principles in attack. Because from these basic principles, the attack starts, or the cooperation in attack is started. You will see that later on. So we'll come back to our 4 basic principles, which are: first, to open the central area. Second, give first way for the ball possessor. Third is safety behind the ball possessor. And number 4 is shifting the play to the other side. So we'll go through those 4 basic principles in attack step by step and explain what's behind. Now, To open the central area is the first basic principle. And the idea of the central area is that we define the central area as that area on the court from which, with a high probability, successful shooting is possible. So as you can imagine, in that moment, it depends on the level of the players, their technical skills and their athletical skills. Because if we go to high level, high performance players, we will find players that even from a very far position outside on the wing with a very small angle to the goal, they can successfully shoot. But if we come to beginners level, it's just the other way around. So in beginners level, we don't have these skills to shoot from a position far outside. So that's why in beginners level, the ankle to the goal must be maybe from a position like here. If they go to an outside position, the probability is going down. So that's why the central area, the effective area, we might call it, is minimized in the width. So higher technical skills, it's opened or it's bigger. Lower or less technical skills, it's decreased. And the same is with the athletical skills too. If we have players that can shoot from the backcourt position, from far outside, jumping high, shooting very tough, then this area is opened. By the time the players need to go inside, because their throwing technique and their athletical skills are weak, then the space is decreased. And this is something which is very important, again, to come back to our idea of starting the game with an open defense. Because in beginners level, the players cannot shoot from outside, the players cannot shoot from far away, so the effective area, the central area, is very small. And if we allow in this status of the game, the defense to take a position here in that central area, then the attackers will have no chance. No chance for scoring, no chance for breaking through. So with that compulsory open defense, we open the central area in an artificial way, you might say. And then even beginners level player can have a chance to break through and find a chance for a good scoring. So if there's the situation that the attack starts, first of all, the players have to try to open the central area by their positioning. So wing players to the corner, open that area. Backcourt players left and right go to the sideline. That's how, from their positioning, they can open the central area. By the time the wings are coming up and inside, by the time left and right back are coming close to center back position, the space is decreased in the center. So that's why we need this positioning to open the central area. Second aspect is that if a player is making a move inside that central area, maybe he cannot break through or shoot because the defense is in front of him. In that moment, he has to pass the ball to the next one. But very important now, immediately again, open the central area. So he has to go out of that space again. This is something very important. We call it special rhythm, give and go. In that moment, go away from the ball, leave the central area. This is the way the players have to use that basic principle. Move inside, okay. If possible, break through. If not, pass and open the central area again. Now, second basic principle in attack is very important for the cooperation. You will see that afterwards, because it's the first way for the ball possessor basic principle. As you may remember from the session when we were talking about the basic principles the first time, we said that the most dangerous player on the court is the one with the ball and high speed moving towards the goal. And in this moment, it's obvious that all other players should stay away and not run to the ball possessor to decrease his space, but give the open space to the ball possessor and give him the way and allow him the way to go to the goal. Give him the chance, the one with the ball, to be the most dangerous player on the court. This is something very basic, and as you know now from some other presentations, this is the way to achieve a game advantage. If a player is running in without ball only, like this one or like this one, they can only achieve position advantage. But as long as they are not in ball possession, it's only a position advantage. But if the player with the ball is breaking through, he has automatically, after winning the one-on-one situation, a so-called game advantage. He can shoot, or he can draw a second defender. Basic principle number 4 in defense. And then another attacker will be free. So that's why this is so important, to give the chance for the player with the ball to move to the goal, and all the others wait. And this is the basics for this type of cooperation. You will see that afterwards. It's a very basic element. Okay, now in the third basic principle, it's about safety for the ball possessor. Now we introduce the movement of the players without ball. So if the player with the ball tries to move to the goal, but defense is in front of him and he cannot continue after taking up the ball, after using the 3 steps, then with maximum 3 seconds, he has to pass the ball to the next one. Now, if in this moment all other players are in front of him and inside the defense in that picture, it's very difficult against the defense which is in front of him and is trying to block the pass, to give the ball to somebody else. So in that moment, players without ball must come back, must come to a position behind the ball possessor, so that a safe pass is possible, and the defense cannot interfere this pass to the one who is behind. This is something very important, and it deals with the basic principle we saw before. Because if the players without ball are waiting for the action of the player with the ball, then it is correct. If they without ball run in and decrease the space, then they made a mistake. And the more they were running in, the more they have to come back to a position where the ball can be passed in a safe way without the chance for defense to intercept. So this is sometimes, especially against an open defense, very hard for the players to accept, because for the players without ball, it's much easier to create the position advantage, run free, here I am, see I'm free, please pass the ball to me. But if they do this, first of all, they decrease the space, and second is they are not free for a safety pass from the ball possessor if this one cannot move towards the goal anymore. So that's why waiting here, open the space to the side and take a position behind the ball possessor is much more clever. Okay, Now, sometimes you can see that the player with the ball cannot move anymore, and the player with ball is coming behind him to use that open space here. So this way might be possible, but the way behind the player is possible too. This is the type we start with the crossing. So because this crossing is, again, a pass to someone who is moving behind. So in front there's the defense. I cannot pass, but I give the ball to someone with a safe pass who is coming around behind me. And so this third basic principle, safety behind ball possessor, it includes the start of the cooperation type of crossing in that moment. Now, finally coming to the last basic principle in attack, which is to move the game, to shift the game to the other side. So if on one side with the ball, the attack tried to break through, the defense will decrease the space. And small space is always better for defense and not so effective for the players in attack. So on the other side of the court, we called it the help side of the court because the help of the defense is coming from that side. Then we see here now open space and much more options for the 2-on-2 in that wide space given compared to the 4-on-4 on the ball side. Maybe in some situations, depending on the behavior of the defense, the attackers, by pressurizing the defense, they could attract another defender. So then defense is one player plus in that area, which means that on the other side, there's one player less. And that's another good reason to shift the play to that side. So now it depends on the technical level of the players. In adult level, from that side to the other side, one pass. But in beginner's level, maybe that long pass is not working because it's going out of the court, or it's not effective enough, not quick enough. So in that moment, maybe dribbling short distance pass is a different way how we can, or an effective way, how we can bring the ball to the other side. Maybe not super fast, but maybe in a safe way. So the techniques the players are using to come to the other side, maybe dribbling and short distance passes, maybe long distance pass, they are different. But in general, the idea how to play is the same, because you cannot succeed here, but the open space and the better chance is on the other side. So this is the basic principle number 4 in attack. And in one video, I will show you how these principles in attack are working in top handball, for sure, in a tactical game or in a tactical conception. Now, let's see what's happening here. We see black team in attack. We don't see left wing in the corner here, right wing in the corner here. So they follow the idea, basic idea, to open the central area. We see also left back player in the position at the sideline, right back player quite close to the sideline. So even the backcourt players too, they open the central area. Now the attackers start the tactical move. And the tactical move first is a type of cooperation, I think everyone knows. It's a crossing without ball. So pass is given from center back to left back. Now left back is in ball possession. And the crossing is here now, center back move to the right side, but with high speed now, right back is coming to the central area. So on one side, we can say, because of that crossing without ball, the central area is opened even more. On the other side, now with the pass from left back, with the pass from left back player to the center back, to the right back player, now this player is in the position to go with high speed. He's the player in ball possession, and all the others give him the first way for the ball possession. Now in this one-on-one situation, he's quite successful as a left-handed player. He could now even shoot to the goal. But now, second tactical element is coming. You can see player in the left back position on the way for safety behind the ball possessor. So this is now crossing with the ball. And from that move, you can see now left back in the air, maybe shooting, okay. 2 players in defense are with him, but very nice to see pivot has an open area here, so the pass to the pivot might be successful. So we had open the central area, first way for the ball possessor, safety behind, and now we have the situation 4-on-4 on that side. You don't see the wing, and 2-on-2, you don't see the other wing on the other side. And this is the moment when left back decides to give the ball to the center back player, who is now in a very comfortable situation, draw the defender to the side, and even open the space in the center more, and then breaking through, and some stupid action from the defense. So it's a penalty and 2 minutes, which is absolutely correct. And from this you can see how the 4 basic principles are working, even in that tactical structure. Open the central area, give first way for the ball possessor, safety behind, and shifting the play to the other side. Okay, now coming to our second chapter, we want to prescribe how these different types of cooperation are built up. And it starts, like we know from the first slide and our picture from the pyramid, with the individual actions, the individual attack behavior. And we have this individual attack behavior on one side with all those elements without ball and with all the elements with ball. And especially breaking through to the right and the left side is something very important, because this variability in action should be given. Another point is, or for these 2 aspects, one-on-one with and one-on-one without ball, 2 aspects are very important. First of all, the players should be able to do that in a basic position, to work out their skills in a basic position. But second, in at least one other position too. So that means that if, first of all, a player is a backcourt player, one-on-one movements are different to, for instance, a wing player. Because in the wing position, we have different space possible. Moving to the inside, moving to the outside is a little bit different, because the ankle in the outside move to the goal is getting worse and worse. So there's not enough space to go back. So the player in wing position must use different moves, different feints to break through compared to the player in the backcourt position. And this specific position education must be worked out, let's say, from the beginning of the category of age 13 and 14 years old. So this is when we start this specializing in the positions. On the other side, if a player is 13 or 14 years old, we never know which player or which position he will play in as an adult player. So at least we should teach him in 2 positions, 2 different positions, and then create some variability in that way. For sure, this helps us in the game, because in some moments in the game, for instance, a left backcourt player, if the wing is running in, must go to the left wing position. If he's not educated in how to move on the wing, he will stand there not being able to do anything. So he's not an active part in the game anymore. That's why he needs some special moves there. Wing players run into pivot position. Backcourt player, after a transition, can go to pivot position. So every player at least should be able, as a second position, to work or to play in the pivot zone. So then we have different positions, and the variability of the player is higher, which hires the quality of the individual skills of our players. That's good. So these individual elements, with and without ball, they have to be worked out in 3 ways. First is to come to the cooperation in the pushing one-on-one and parallel. Second is the crossing with and without ball. Third is the give and go. And the fourth is the screening with and without ball. So these are the 4 different elements we have in cooperation in attack. And for those 4 elements, it's the same. They must be worked out in 2 aspects. First of all, different following actions. Second, different positions. So, as you can imagine, after a crossing or after a screening, the defense tries to react. So we had this in our cooperation in defense presentation, that the defense cooperation depends on what are the attackers doing. So if the attackers are always using their positions, never change positions, never cooperate, it's easy for the defense because it's always same defender against same attacker. But if they change positions, if they do something like screening, for instance, then the defense must react on that. But the attack cannot predict the reaction of the defense. As you remember, one option, for instance, was to stay, one was to switch. And because of the attackers don't know that, they have to find an answer on that reaction of the defense. So this is what we call the different following actions. So after a screening, for instance, it's possible that the player in the backcourt is free to shoot. But it's possible too that the defender of the pivot is coming now attacking to that player in the backcourt. Pivot is running free and the ball must be given to pivot. This is a different following action. It's even possible that a third defender is coming from another position. So shooting not possible, passing to pivot not possible, but player in the neighbor position is free. And the players in attack need to work out, need to train these different following actions depending on the reaction of the defense. Second is that the cooperations can be used in different positions. As you see, we have this variability or this range of variations for different types of cooperation, but crossing is not always crossing from center to right back or center to left back. Sometimes crossing from right back moving in and center back coming around is a very nice and effective move. Screening is not always the inside screen with the strong hand. Sometimes it's possible to use the outside screen. And if a backcourt player and a pivot are really good in cooperation and they can the inside and the outside screen, the defense will get crazy because they never know what happens in that moment, in which position the screen is set it. So that's why using those types of cooperation in different positions challenges the defense much more. So that's why we need the different following actions and the different positions. Okay, now we come to the step from individual to cooperation, and the three elements that are important in that moment. The first moment or the first aspect is quite important, to play quite close to the defense. Don't go back so far. Take a position quite close to attack on one and on the other side, and don't spend too much time for running forward and backward. This is something which is a type of differentiation between traditional old school handball, we might say, and modern handball. In modern handball, you can see the players in attack taking a position quite close to the defense so that very quick they can attack, shoot or break through or make their individual moves. And this traditional style of forward-backward move is almost not to be seen in the modern handball. Second aspect in that moment is attack the gaps. So this depends on the running skills of the players and their basic attack movements. We had this special presentation about basic attack movements. Moving straight is one option, moving to the right and moving to the left are the two other options. But by moving straight, the defense is not challenged because the defense can wait for the attacker to come. If you move to that side or to that side, the defense has to react and make a movement to react on the first move of the attacker. If the attacker is moving here and the defense is waiting or not following, okay, break through. But if the defense is coming, a counter move and the move to the other side is very successful. So attacking to the gaps is one of the most important elements, using the different basic attack movements, using the different directions of the movement, and challenge the defense with the first movement the attacker is making. And the third aspect in that is on individual level, that the players need to throw very quick, very fast. So on the left side of this figure here, we see the traditional style, whereas on the right side, it's the modern style. In the traditional style, you see left back player now receiving the ball from left wing, moving, jumping, shooting. So it's all one direction. But he's moving towards the defense, he's jumping towards the defense, and he tries to throw over the defender. So in that moment, the defense has a lot of time to observe and to prepare, maybe to block or even to step out and interfere against that shoot from the distance. It's easy to read, easy to anticipate for the defense. On the other side, here you can see player in the right back position moving to the gap, receiving the ball, draw the defense, move sidewards to the other gap, and then very quick shooting. So this is something which depends, first of all, on very good coordination skills, because the movement or the main movement is now sidewards. And the second is that in that moment, it depends on very quick realization of the shooting. Whereas in the traditional style, the player can prepare the finalization of the attack, prepare his technical execution very long. Here, must do that in a very short time and try to finalize quick. So this is the difference in old school and new school, you might say. So from these three elements, we come to the cooperation. And this type of cooperation, or the type of cooperation, depends on the behavior and the decision of the second defender. So as we can see in the first picture here, player in center back position moves to the gap on the left side, receives the ball. With that movement, player in defense is drawn. Now go to the gap here. Try to break through. First solution, I want to score. Now, if I cannot score because second defender is coming, then second attacker must move to the open space and pass shall be given. So this is the first type of cooperation, which is the one-on-one pushing and parallel movement. So the movement is not straight to this defender and straight to that defender, because that would be parallel too. No, it's to the gap and then around, and the other one in the open space. So this is a parallel movement too, but different to the traditional style. So this is the way we create this first type of cooperation. And in the second picture, you can see the second one. Now, player with the ball again, moving to the left gap, receive the ball, move around the defender to that gap, but from that black arrow, you can see defense is still in a good position. He's covering the one-on-one situation. In that moment, second defender must not help. So there's no open space given for the player in the second position to move to that free space, or there's no free space here. That's why now attacker moved inside, defender moved inside, free space is on that side here. And then we have safety behind the ball possessor. And the second type of cooperation here is crossing. So in that way, we develop the two options of cooperation in the width, which is one-on-one pushing parallel, or move to the gap and crossing after that. So as you can see from that, the cooperation in attack depends on the positioning. And this is what we can see here again. The first and basic variation is the 2-on-2 in the width, one-on-one with ball in the left position, one-on-one without ball in the right position. And now it starts with the movement of the player with the ball to the gap. If he wants to do something clever, he can first make a move outside, a feint, draw the defender in that direction, and open the gap even more. Because in a 2-on-2 situation, the central area is the gap between the two defenders. So with a movement to the side, I open the central area, but then movement, player with the ball, first wave for the ball possessor. And if no help is coming, okay, we don't need to cooperate. He's breaking through. If help is coming, running to the open space and parallel pass or pass to the parallel movement is given. And for the second type of cooperation, it's the same. Outside feint, inside move, and then going behind. So it always starts with the movement from the ball possessor to the gap, and then continue in dependence on what is second defender doing. Please be aware, other forms of cooperation might be possible. So it might be possible that the player without ball is running inside here or running in the back of the defender here, and then has a position advantage. And if the ball is coming, this position advantage will turn into a game advantage. But if he's making a move and the player in defense is with him or going behind, and this one is covered, this is the end of cooperation in that moment, because the ball possessor is still in that position and nothing happens. Ball possessor does not need to go to the gap. He can go inside feint, outside move. But from here, if the defense is following with him and pushes him to the sideline, then it will be difficult to pass the ball to the second attacker who must run free. So type of cooperation is a little bit difficult in that moment. That's why, in general, basically, we always prefer the movement of the player with ball to the gap, and then the type of cooperation results on that. The second way how the players can take their positions on the court in that 2-on-2 situation is the 2-on-2 in the depth. Now we have the couple of attacker with ball and his defender far away from the goal, and the attacker without ball and his defender closer to the goal. Now, again, in this constellation, two types of cooperation are possible. The first and easy is the so-called give and go. So in that moment, player without ball runs maybe in this position, maybe in that position, but not into the shadow of the front defender, go a little bit out of the shadow. In that moment, player with the ball passes to the pivot and runs free on the other side, or tries to run free on the other side. This is something which is confusing for this defender, because as you remember from the basic principles in defense, principle number 3 says, always observe opponent and ball. So if the ball is now passed in this direction, but the player is afterwards running in that direction, ball here, player there, this is an element that confuses the player here. So that's why the cooperation, give and go, can be successful in that moment. Then it depends on what is second defender doing. Maybe he's running in this direction to cover the one who is running free, and then it's almost 2-on-1 situation for a short time before this defender decides to go back. The difference now to what we said before is that in this type of cooperation, it's the only one. Now the start is made from the player without ball, because he is running free, then the pass is given, and then the movement of the attacker in the back position is made. So give and go is the only type of cooperation which is started from the player without ball. The difference is now to the second type of cooperation in the depth, which is the screen, that again, the player with ball must do something first. Moving to one side, try to attack and try to break through. And with this, drawing the defender to one side. If the defender is drawn to that position, then it's easy for the player without ball to step here and to establish the position. By that moment, the player with ball now can move to the other side and use the player as a screen. And then, depending on the second defender, continuing after screen and running free. So again here, the movement of the player with ball to draw the defender is the start. And this is really needed and helpful because in that moment, the player who is setting the screen can do that in a way which is according to the rules. Because if the defender is drawn, the screen is set it, and then the attacker is moving around, and the defense is moving to the screen, it's correct, because the screen is already established and the position of the screen is passive. If there's no movement and the defense is already in position and now the screen is moving towards the player in defense and even touching them, it's an active way of screening. This is immediately a mistake and the referees will go for a charging. So the better the preparation movement of the player with the ball, the easier to set a screen in a really correct way according to the rules. That's why, again, in that moment, the start is given from the player with the ball. Okay, now come to the combination of those two elements in a 3-on-3 situation. Now we have 2-on-2 in the width and 2-on-2 in the depth. And in this constellation now, all 4 types of cooperation are possible. So the players can go for a one-on-one pushing parallel, they can go for a crossing, they can use the give and go, and they can use the screen. So that's perfect, because with this small group cooperation of 3 players, or constellation of 3 players, every type of cooperation is possible. If we would add another attacker and another defender, so extend this situation as a 4-on-4, no more cooperation elements will be introduced. So because we have everything already in the 3-on-3, which is almost perfect. Okay, now to start the cooperation is something in that category of age 13, 14 years. And I show you some example from boys in that category of age. And you can see here, now they start doing this. Very obvious to see that this is always something which starts from the players in the wing position. So the basic idea here is give the ball to the wing, and it's really a wing position the player is using. And then from the wing player, you start with that inside-outside move. So now we are on the wing, and you can see this small triangle of wing player, backcourt player, and pivot on the side. The pivot is not in the central area. You can see the central area really, really free. So in that moment, outside feint and inside move to the gap between first and second defender. This is the task for the wing player. Second is attacker movement from backcourt now to the open area, open space in the center, and pivot in that moment, running free in that area too. So it's easy to create the space in the center and to finalize the attack. So very simple, very easy. But from the positioning of the pivot, you can see opening the central area. Again, outside in, and then we see the same on the other side. And very important now, this is free cooperation. So now we have the triangle, wing, backcourt, and pivot on the other side. So again, attack starts on the left side, outside-inside move. But then on the other side, now we see ball possession with the wing, pivot very far on the side, central area opened again, pass from wing to pivot, and from pivot to backcourt, who is running in. Another example here. And again, it's cooperation of wing and pivot. Because you can see in that picture now, wing is taking the ball, going to the outside to open the space, but pivot tries to set a screen against half defender. But this is not well prepared in that moment. So half defender is stepping out of the screen, and now it's not possible for the player in the backcourt to use the screen. So in that moment, after the movement from the wing player, outside, inside, it's again the pivot to run free and to break through himself. So Always easy to see how they do that. Okay. Now, in the next category of age, 15, 16, you can see the defense, little bit more defensive, but still it's a basic variation of 3-2-1, and the players in attack using the same style of playing. So they circulate the ball. The wing is moving to the gap. The backcourt player is moving inside, pivot again with an outside position, tries to run free, but now counter move from the backcourt and again inside. And you see movement from the center back player to the gap to the right. Defense follows, but now counter move to the left. So from that, it should be really obvious for everyone to see now how the players in the backcourt positions and even in the wing positions, they use these basic attack movements to go to the gap and then continuously play. Now the cooperation is with the pivot. Again, ball with the wing. And you see the screen of the pivot against wing defender. It's an inside screen. Now, backcourt player, inside move, passing the ball to the center, but immediately without ball, going back to the gap between first and second defender. And again, pivot now in a screen outside. Okay, once again. See the players inside and outside. And gap is open, pass is coming not properly, but still it was okay. And another example here. Outside screen. So sometimes it's the inside screen, but sometimes it's the outside screen, as I said before. So use the gap between first and second defender, breakthrough here. And defense illegally inside 6 meter. So once again, screen is set it, move here, and defense inside. So screen now for backcourt, for center back, penetrate and pass. And now right back is coming for shooting. So once again, and shooting here. So you can see that in this team, the pivot uses different types of screens. Screening against point defender for center back, screening against half defender for left back, inside and outside screen, and screening against wing defender, inside screen. So once again, take care for the pivot. Now he's a little bit passive, but he's standing in front of the defender. So try to screen here. This is the position. Backcourt player inside. Okay, not possible. Basic move to the outside. Inside from the wing again. And inside from the backcourt again. And now pivot in front of the player. Screening. And easy shooting in that moment. So this is the way of cooperation for that category of age, and it's a free play. This, from my point of view, is very important for everyone to know. They have to search for the gap and they have to make decisions for how to continue. It's not a fixed game, it's a free play. Okay, now to develop this quality in decision-making free play, we have certain drills or game situations we can work out in the training sessions. Now this is a so-called variation 2 against 2 plus 2 against 1. So as you can see here, on the right side, it's wing and backcourt against 2 defenders on the ball side here. But on the other side, there's still an attacker in the wing, an attacker in the back, and only 1 defender on that side. That's why we say 2 on 2 on one side, plus 2 on 1 on the other side. Now the ball is circulated or passed to the other side. And in this moment, for a short time, it's a 2 on 1 situation. But you will see the center defender now, the inside defender from that side, now moves to the other side. So if the players are not fast enough to solve the situation, 2 against 1, it's again 2 against 2 now on that side. But they can circulate the ball again to the right side. I get crazy with that. So once again. So if they cannot finalize here, pass the ball to the other side, 2 on 2 here, okay, and then again here. So this is how they must circulate the ball to get a chance for scoring. Now, if there's no chance here, pass to the other side. And now very quick, and this would have been a gap big enough for the wing player to break through here. So unfortunately, she didn't use it. Okay, let's try again. So the basic task for the attackers in that drill is, first of all, find the solution in the 2 on 2 on that side. But if you cannot find the solution, circulate the ball and shift the game to the other side. Fourth basic principle in attack. Pass to the other side and then try to score. Very nice. So this is the task here. And we have one special rule in that game situation here. If the ball is coming from right to left side or from left to right side, the ball must be with the wing before they can finalize the attack. This is some help for the defense. Now the ball is with the wing, okay, because the defense needs a little bit time to create the 2 on 2 situation again. If not, it would be too easy if we play without that rule. And second is, this helps the players to focus on the wing and not always play the ball only in the backward position. So to introduce the wings and to integrate the wings as an active part of our game, especially with the movement to the gap between first and second defender to prepare the parallel movement, this is very, very helpful game. Okay, now in the next example, you can see a situation 2 on 2 on every side, on each side, but there's a pivot. But we have some special rules for the pivot. Now, as you can see, it's the backcourt and the wing in the corner. You will see her immediately. Half defender and wing defender. And here behind, you see the pivot. But the pivot now on the ball side, he is only allowed to work with the screen. So in this type of game, we develop the using of the screen for the backcourt or for the wing player. So the pivot is not allowed to score. This is not possible. So, but he can set an inside screen, an outside screen, at the half defender or an inside screen at the wing defender. And the players in attack with ball, they have to see this situation and try to make a solution out of that. On the other side, the pivot on the help side is able to score. So if the pass is coming now from right back to pivot on the left side, this is possible to score. That is quite important on one side for focusing of the player with ball, not only what is happening here, but try to have an eye what is with the other side. Is the pivot free? On the other side, this pivot as an active player who can score, it forces the defense on the help side to sink back. Because if this pivot could not score, the defense could stay outside always and cover the backward player the whole time. But in that moment, if the player in the pivot position can score, she has to sink back and cover the pivot. Now the backcourt and the screen is set it. Break through and you go. So now break through and go. Once again, attacker from the wing, try to move inside. Screen is set it and we go. Now, outside move parallel is possible. So you see the different options they have. Now, one-on-one, solve the situation. And once again here. And now, very clever from this girl here. Inside move, eyes to the other side, see the free pivot because defense is already out, and then the pass must come to the pivot. This is what we want the players to observe and to make a good decision in that moment. Screen is set it outside and easily finalization of the attack. So wing coming inside and pass to pivot. This is what we want to see. And as a final type, now an additional player in defense is coming. It's the center defender. And we work in the same way like in the first drill, because this defender is always moving to the ball side. Now she's here. And the situation on that side is 3 against 3. This triangle we had in the video before. So it's the wing, the backcourt, and the pivot against center defender, half defender, wing defender. So once again, now she's coming on that side. If the ball is on the other side, she will move to that side. So half defender, center defender, wing defender, left back, pivot, and wing in the corner. So it's 3 on 3 on the ball side and 3 against 2 on the other side. So circulation of the ball is made. Now the pass to the wing is not needed. It's a free play. And every type of pass is possible. Find a solution in the small group or operation on your side. If not, please forward the ball to the other side. This is every time very, very important to keep the game fluent and make the defense move to the other side. And that's why I always love drills in that style, because it's a type of parallel education, parallel training. It's training for the backcourt players, it's training for the wings and the pivot in attack, but it's training for the defense too. So both sides of the game, both parts of the game, attack and defense, they fight and they play like in a normal game situation. And you can see here, very good attempts for cooperation, good attempts for from defense to stop the attack. Everything fine. Okay. So this is the end of the presentation. I hope that everyone could see how the cooperation is built up in that way. So, going to the chat and see what questions we had. So, show some video of cooperation, attack of pushing 2 and 2 in the depth. We had it. Please give some more drills with diagrams. We had that already. 3 on 3. This is 3 on 3 is combination. So no problem to work it out anyway. The attacker must create an odd numbering situation to score a goal. The attacker must solve the situation one-on-one with ball. This is the basic quality players need. Winning one-on-one with ball. This is the most important activity. If you have 6 players on the court and everybody willing and able to win the one-on-one situation with ball, you will have immediately a very strong team. Okay, thank you. No more questions. Mr. Mohinder, are you ready?
Thank you very much, Mr. Klaus. It was really, again, very informative, very valuable, and I think our participants might have enjoyed. So it was really a recalling to us also. So you have given more stress on the cooperation of 2 players among 3 players to work open in the center area, first way of the ball possessor, how we have to penetrate inside, how we have to run into the gap, then shifting the play to the other side if we are not able to score a goal to one side when there is a more crowd. So we have to shift the attack to the other side. So I think it is more valuable, and the way you explained through the diagrams and through the videos, I think it is very, very good, sir. Thank you very much,
Thank you so
Klaus,
much.
once again.
See you tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Now, dear colleagues, जैसा कि क्लाउस जी ने बहुत ही सुंदर तरीके से, बहुत ही अच्छे तरीके से हमें कोऑपरेशन इन अटैक, जो हमारे यहाँ 4 प्रिंसिपल हम कराते हैं, ROP, RAP, PCH, स्क्रीन, ये वही हैं, पर इन्होंने अपनी टर्मिनोलॉजी में हमें थोड़ा सा बहुत अच्छे तरीके से एक्सप्लेन किया है. So we are very thankful to Mr. Klaus Feldman, who has briefed in such a way. अब मैं CP सिंह जी को रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि आपको वो हिंदी में एक्सप्लेन करें जो उन्होंने कहा. प्लीज मिस्टर CP सिंह. Yes,
everyone. Thank you, Mr. Mender. So it was very useful session, and this is the second step. Individual practice के बाद ये second step है. अगर हम मिस्टर क्लोज ने जो हमें पिरामिड दिखाया उसके अगर हम एनालाइज करें तो कोऑपरेशन मीन्स जहाँ एक से ज़्यादा 2 या 3 प्लेयर्स मिलके अटैकिंग मूवमेंट्स को करेंगे तो वो कोऑपरेशन वहाँ पे 2 या 3 प्लेयर्स के बीच में होगा, जिसको हम अपनी लैंग्वेज में बोलते हैं ऑफेंसिव ग्रुप टैक्टिक्स, जहाँ 2 या 3 प्लेयर्स ज़्यादा इन्वॉल्व होंगे उसमें. उससे पहले उन्होंने कुछ चीज़ें जो बार बार बात करते हैं कि इंडिविजुअली टेक्निकल प्लेयर्स का साउंड होना बहुत ज़रूरी है. उसमें जो 4 बेसिक टेक्निक्स थे उनके बारे में बताया गया कि व्हाट इज़ द रोल ऑफ द बॉल हैंडलिंग एंड ड्रिबलिंग. बॉल हैंडलिंग और बॉल ड्रिबलिंग का मतलब है टू क्रिएट द स्पेस एंड द टाइम. विच इज रिक्वायर्ड। जब हम कॉम्बिनेशंस करेंगे उसमें आपको स्पेस की जरूरत पड़ेगी, टाइम की भी जरूरत पड़ेगी। कैचिंग एंड पासिंग, इट्स ए कोऑपरेशन बिटवीन द प्लेयर्स। मैंने उस दिन भी आपको बताया था ये कि मीडियम है और बॉल एक कॉन्टैक्ट का काम करेगा यहाँ पे, और थ्रोइंग अ फाइनलाइजेशन ऑफ द एक्शन। एंड कल जो उनका क्लास था बेसिक एलिमेंट्स, उसमें ओपोनेंट्स के डिफेंडर के बिहेवियर के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है कि हमने किस टाइप से फेंट करना है, मूवमेंट्स करना है। डिफरेंट फेंटिंग मूवमेंट्स उन्होंने ही एक्सप्लेन वेरी वेल यस्टरडे विद द एग्जांपल्स, और जिसको हम सिस्टम एसईओ फेंट भी बोलते हैं उसके हिसाब से उन्होंने वो किया था। हाँ, तो उन्होंने आज कुछ और इस पे थोड़ा हाईलाइट किया है हमें मॉडर्न हैंडबॉल में। उन्होंने बताया कि टीम कॉम्बिनेशंस को इतना ज़्यादा अहमियत नहीं दी जाती आजकल। ठीक है, कुछ टीम उसको करती हैं, बट इम्पोर्टेंट आजकल स्मॉल कॉम्बिनेशंस में आपने भी ऑब्जर्व किया होगा कि जो इंटरनेशनल मैचेस होते हैं उसमें दे गो फॉर द स्मॉल 2-3 मैक्सिमम 4 प्लेयर्स के। उसका रीजन क्या है कि जितना लंबा प्लेयर्स इन्वॉल्व होंगे उतनी ही ज़्यादा मिस्टेक्स होने की पॉसिबिलिटीज़ हैं, और एक मिस्टेक्स जो आपकी जो सारी मेहनत है उस कॉम्बिनेशन को सक्सेसफुल करने में, वो कहीं ना कहीं उसको खत्म कर सकती है, जिसको यूजुअली हम एक सिंपल टर्म्स में बोलते हैं ये एक चेन है। और आपकी चेन मजबूत कब होगी? जब आपकी चेन के लिंक्स होंगे। तो यहाँ पे जो प्लेयर्स उस कॉम्बिनेशन में या उस कोऑपरेशन में इन्वॉल्व हैं वो एक लिंक का काम करेंगे। अगर कोई भी लिंक सपोज रॉन्ग पास हो गया या बॉल कलेक्शन अच्छे से नहीं हुआ, टाइमिंग्स नहीं हुआ, तो अगर एक लिंक होने से आपका सक्सेसफुल कॉम्बिनेशन उसमें एप्लीकेशन नहीं हो पाएगा। तो इसीलिए एक तो रीजन ये बताया कि ज़्यादा मिस्टेक्स होने के चांसेस होते हैं, ज़्यादा इन्वॉल्वमेंट जहाँ पे प्लेयर्स करेंगे। और दूसरा उन्होंने रीजन बताया कि आजकल टेक्नोलॉजी हाई हो गई है। टीम्स मैच से पहले एक दूसरे टीम्स की वीडियो एनालिसिस करते हैं, उनके स्ट्रॉन्ग पॉइंट्स देखते हैं, उनके वीक पॉइंट्स देखते हैं। उसके बेस पे वो अपने मैच की स्पेसिफिक मैच की एनालिसिस करके स्ट्रेटजी अपनी बनाएंगे, तो उस हिसाब से फिर उसको काउंटर वो करने की कोशिश करते हैं। तो स्मॉल कॉम्बिनेशंस में मोर ऑप्शंस होते हैं, क्योंकि कॉम्बिनेशंस का मतलब क्या है? टू क्रिएट द आउट नंबरिंग सिचुएशन। गोल अपॉर्चुनिटी बनाने के लिए या तो खुद के लिए करेंगे या हम अपने टीममेट्स के लिए करेंगे, तो उसमें एक ही पॉसिबिलिटीज नहीं होती हैं। वेरिएशंस के साथ आपको वो बताना पड़ता है कि भाई अगर ओपोनेंट डिजायर्ड बिहेवियर नहीं करता है तो हमारा नेक्स्ट स्टेप क्या होगा। ग्रुप कॉम्बिनेशन या जिस ऑपरेशन जो प्लेयर्स के बीच में होगा, तो स्मॉल अगर कम प्लेयर्स होंगे, 2-3 होंगे, तो उसमें अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं गोल मारने की वो ज्यादा हो जाएंगी। उसके बाद उन्हें प्रिंसिपल्स बताए हैं। जो अटैक के प्रिंसिपल्स थे वो एक एसम से रिवीजन टाइप है। ओपन द स्पेस इन द सेंट्रल एरिया, ये फर्स्ट प्रिंसिपल है। यूजुअली क्या होता है कि हमें आइडिया है सक्सेसफुल शूटिंग एंगल, हमें मालूम है कि हमारा जो गोल की अपॉर्चुनिटी ज्यादा होती है व्हेन वी टेक ए थ्रोन गोल इन फ्रंट ऑफ द गोल पोस्ट। तो वहां पे अगर उसमें करें तो उसमें हमारी मूवमेंट्स भी ज्यादा होने की पॉसिबिलिटीज हैं, ये एक उन्होंने बताया था। और बिगनर्स चीज करते हैं कि चीज में अगर हम विंग से उनको करवाने की कोशिश करते हैं तो एक नैरो शूटिंग एंगल हो जाएगा, अपॉर्चुनिटीज वहाँ पे कम है। इसीलिए बार बार उनका भी एम्फेसाइज इसी बात के ऊपर था कि हमें सेंट्रल एरिया जो हमारा बैक पोजिशंस का वहाँ पे ओपनिंग्स हमारी ज्यादा होनी चाहिए। वो विड्थ में भी हो सकता है और डेप्थ में भी हो सकता है। दूसरा उसने बताया कि प्लेयर इज नॉट एबल टू पास द बॉल टू गिव एंड गो। वो एक अगर आप वहाँ पे बैक पोजिशंस पे खेलते हैं, समटाइम्स सिचुएशन ऐसी आती है कि हमारे 3 स्टेप्स हो गए, वी आर नॉट एबल टू ड्रिबल द बॉल, तो हमें फिर बॉल को पास करना पड़ेगा। तो वहाँ पे गिव एंड गो उसमें हो जाता है। और यहाँ पे एक उन्होंने हाईलाइट किया एक बात को, लास्ट क्लासेज में भी उसने एम्फेसाइज किया था कि बॉल देने के बाद हमें खड़े नहीं रोना है, हमें रनिंग करना है, सो दैट हम डिफेंस को प्रेशराइज करेंगे। ओके। सेकंड जो प्रिंसिपल था उसका, फर्स्ट वे फॉर द बॉल पासर, जिस प्लेयर के पास, जिसको हम बोलते हैं बॉल कैरियर या जिस प्लेयर के पास बॉल है, हमने पहले उसको रास्ता देना। बिकॉज हैंडबॉल में डेंजरस प्लेयर कौन है? जिस प्लेयर के पास ही हैज द बेस्ट अपॉर्चुनिटी टू स्कोर ए गोल, और वो स्पीड में आ रहा है तो उसको गोल मारने की पॉसिबिलिटीज वहां पे ज्यादा है। तो इसलिए उसको पहला हमने पॉसिबिलिटीज है गोल मारने के लिए। अगर कोई प्लेयर विदाउट बॉल एक फ्री स्पेस में खड़ा है, तो उसने लास्ट क्लासेस में भी हमें एक्सप्लेन करके बताया था कि उसको बोलते हैं कि एडवांटेज पोजिशनिंग, पोजिशन एडवांटेज है। बट जो प्लेयर बॉल के साथ फ्री स्पेस में है और गोल मारने की पोजीशन में है, वो होता है गेम एडवांटेज। अब वो सिचुएशन किसके हिसाब से है? अगर वो जिस प्लेयर के पास बॉल है और पोजिशनल एडवांटेज वाला प्लेयर फ्री है तो ही कैन मेक द पास, वो डिपेंड करेगा आपकी सिचुएशन के ऊपर से। दूसरा होता है सेफ्टी ऑफ द बॉल। बॉल की सेफ्टी इंपॉर्टेंट है। अटैक में हम अटैकर टीम या अटैकर प्लेयर जब तक होंगे जब तक हमारी टीम के पास बॉल पोजीशन है, और एज सुन एज वी लूज द बॉल पोजीशन हम डिफेंसिव प्लेयर हो जाएंगे। तो बॉल की सिक्योर रखना और जिस प्लेयर के पास बॉल है कम से कम उसकी सेफ्टी, उसको हेल्प करना, वो हमारा जिम्मेवारी है। कई बार क्या होता है कि जैसे पहले भी अभी इसी में रिपीट किया था कि प्लेयर 3 स्टेप्स के बाद उसकी अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं बनती है उसके गोल मारने हैं, तो वो क्या करेगा, विद इन 3 सेकेंड वो उसको पास करेगा। तो उसने डायग्राम्स के थ्रू समझाया था कि हमें बॉल लेने के लिए उसको प्लेयर को पीछे की तरफ आना चाहिए, जाके वो फ्री और सेफ पास उसको मिलेगा। अगर प्लेयर इनसाइड जाता है, डेप्थ में जाएगा, तो उसका डिसएडवांटेज, 2 डिसएडवांटेज ने बताए हैं कि नंबर 1 तो वहाँ पे स्पेस मिनिमाइज हो जाएगा एक्टिविटी का, मूवमेंट्स का, जो प्लेयर विदाउट बॉल वहाँ पे गया है। और दूसरा क्या है कि पॉसिबिलिटीज हैं वहाँ पे बॉल को इंटरसेप्ट होने के लिए। तो उसमें 2 अपॉर्चुनिटी बताई उसने। एक तो बॉल के लिए आप थोड़ा अपनी पोजीशन पे विड्रा कर सकते हैं, दूसरा जिस प्लेयर के पास बॉल है उसके बिहाइंड यू कैन रन, तो सो दैट वो प्लेयर आपको पास कर रहा है, जिसको हम उन्होंने क्रॉसिंग या पोजीशन चेंज का जो मूवमेंट्स है उसके बारे में बताया। फोर्थ जो है दैट इज द शिफ्टिंग ऑफ द बॉल। अब कई बार हम क्या करते हैं, लोड करते हैं, सपोज प्लेयर नंबर 4 के साथ बॉल है, वहां पे जिस साइड में बॉल होगा नेचुरली डिफेंस भी उधर की तरफ शिफ्ट हो जाएगा। तो वहां पे सिचुएशन आता है कि आपके मूवमेंट्स नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, तो अपोजिट साइड में, लेफ्ट साइड में अगर हमारा प्लेयर फ्री है तो हमें उसको गेम को शिफ्ट कर देना चाहिए। अब वो डिपेंड करेगा कि ड्रिबलिंग के साथ मूवमेंट करनी है, लॉन्ग पास देना है, या किस मूवमेंट्स के साथ आप उस चीज को वहां पे करेंगे। तो उसके बाद जो नेक्स्ट इस कंटिन्यूएशन में जो उसने बताया था कि इंडिविजुअल अटैक जो प्लेयर है उसको क्या करना चाहिए। उसने सबसे पहले कहा था कि आपको जो प्लेयर विदाउट बॉल है उनको गैप्स को अटैक करना चाहिए, मूविंग टुवर्ड्स द गोल। ठीक है, अब वो आप उसमें फेंट कर सकते हैं लेफ्ट या राइट विदाउट बॉल, जो भी आपने उसमें करना है, बट अटैकिंग प्रिंसिपल जो बोलता है कि यू हैव टू अटैक द गैप्स। और विद बॉल या कई बार बिना बॉल के जो प्लेयर जाता है वो रनिंग में भी फेंट करता है, टर्न ऑफ या अपने प्लेयर को, ओपोनेंट को बीट करके जाएगा, सब ताकि डिफेंस को प्रेशराइज करे, एंगेज करेगा वो। और विदाउट बॉल जो डिफरेंट फेंट्स हैं वो कर सकते हैं आप। अगर आप जब फेंट करते हैं, उसने एक एनिमेशन से बताया भी था, अगर वो प्लेयर आपको फॉलो नहीं करता है, अगर वो आपको प्लेयर फॉलो नहीं करता है तो आप ब्रेक थ्रू की पॉसिबिलिटीज हैं वहाँ पे, उसमें आप एक गोल वहाँ पे कर सकते हैं। तो जो क्रॉसिंग है विद एंड विदाउट बॉल भी हो सकती है। अब जब आप मूवमेंट, जितनी ज्यादा मूवमेंट्स करेंगे उसमें डिफेंस के लिए चैलेंजेस ज्यादा हो जाएंगे। शिफ्ट करेंगे, उनको प्रेशराइज करेंगे, यू विल फोर्स देम टू कमिट द मिस्टेक्स। बाद में उसने इन कॉम्बिनेशंस में जो है एलिमेंट्स बताए हैं आपको, इंडिविजुअल प्लेयर्स क्या करेगा, ये बेसिक पॉइंट्स हैं। तो उसने बताया कि जब हम कॉम्बिनेशंस को, जिसको यूजुअली हम इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स हैं वाइल अप्लाइंग द ग्रुप कॉम्बिनेशंस या कोऑपरेशन है, हमें ओपोनेंट से ज्यादा दूरी नहीं बना के रखनी है, क्लोज मार्किंग करनी है। मार्किंग मीन्स जो डिफेंसिव प्लेयर है उसके पास हमने करना है। जो मॉडर्न का, उसने बार बार एक वर्ड यूज करता है, मॉडर्न हैंडबॉल, एडवांस जो हैंडबॉल है, वो यही करते हैं कि ज्यादा दूरी से मूवमेंट को स्टार्ट नहीं करते, नजदीक से करेंगे। अगर हम ज्यादा दूरी से मूवमेंट स्टार्ट करेंगे तो हम क्या करते हैं, वी गिव द सफिशिएंट टाइम टू द डिफेंसिव प्लेयर, वो एंटिसिपेट करेंगे हमारी मूवमेंट्स को और उसी अकॉर्डिंग उनका बिहेवियर होगा। जब हम कोई भी टैक्टिक्स अडॉप्ट करते हैं, अप्लाई करते हैं, इंडिविजुअल है या ग्रुप टैक्टिक्स है, उसका हमारा एम ये होता है कि द प्लेयर विल एक्ट, हमारी जो डिजायर्ड बिहेवियर है उसके हिसाब से काम करे। बट वो एंटिसिपेट करके, वो हमारी मूवमेंट्स को करके वो नहीं करने देंगे। अगर हमारा गैप है, अगर आपका डिस्टेंस कम है, तो आप उसको मिनिमम टाइम देंगे, तो आप एंटिसिपेशन या रिएक्ट करने के लिए, बिहेवियर करने के लिए। दूसरा उसने बताया कि अटैक द गैप्स, हमेशा डिफेंडर के बीच में आपको करना है। डिफेंडर के बीच से, अगर हम डिफेंडर के सामने जाएंगे तो डिफेंस मूव नहीं करेगा। हमारा काम है कि डिफेंस को डिस्टेबलाइज करना, अपनी जगह से हिलाना, और जब तक नहीं हिलेगा तो वो अपनी पोजीशंस को, अपने एरिया से नहीं हिलेगा, तो गैप्स बनने वाली पॉसिबिलिटीज नहीं है। क्योंकि कोऑपरेशन की जब हम बात करते हैं तो उसमें टू क्रिएट द आउट नंबरिंग सिचुएशन या टू क्रिएट द न्यूमेरिकल एडवांटेज सिचुएशन, जिससे कि खुद के लिए या मेरे टीममेट के लिए या आपके टीममेट के लिए जो भी है, उनके लिए गोल मारने की अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिलेंगी। थर्ड उसने बताया कि क्विक थ्रोइंग, स्लो थ्रोइंग, स्लो मूवमेंट्स नहीं करना है हमने। टाइम, मिनिमम टाइम होता है हमारे पास, डिफेंस रिएक्ट क्विक करेगा। उन्होंने एक एग्जांपल दिया था कि अगर हम बॉल लेके रनिंग करके दूर से जाएंगे तो जो डिफेंसिव प्लेयर है, जो डिफेंसिव प्लेयर है वो एंटीसिपेट कर लेगा उस चीज के लिए, क्योंकि आपको जंप भी करना है, रनिंग भी करना है, थ्रो भी करना है। तो उस केस में आपके मूवमेंट्स को वो कहीं ना कहीं डिफेंड करने की कोशिश करे एज पर मिस्टर क्लोज फील्डमैन। सो तो आप उस चीज को रनिंग में बॉल रिसीव करेंगे, सो यू विल बी एबल टू गिव द मिनिमम टाइम। ठीक है, तो उसके बाद नेक्स्ट में उसमें है कोऑपरेशन। जो कोऑपरेशन है वो डिपेंड करता है हमेशा जो सेकंड डिफेंसिव प्लेयर है, जिस प्लेयर के साथ आपने अंडरस्टैंडिंग डेवलप करनी है, जिस प्लेयर के आपको मूवमेंट को फर्दर एक्सटेंड करना है, उस डिफेंसिव प्लेयर, उस अटैकिंग प्लेयर का, पर्सनल डिफेंसिव प्लेयर का क्या बिहेवियर है। उन्होंने 1-1 के एग्जांपल दिए, 2-2 के एग्जांपल दिए हैं। एक ही सिचुएशन में उन्होंने कोशिश किया कि यहाँ पे आपका पैरेलल मूवमेंट्स भी हो सकता है, गिव एंड गो भी हो सकता है, स्क्रीन भी लग सकता है। उन्होंने विड्थ और डेप्थ में जो सेकंड डिफेंसिव डिफेंसिव प्लेयर है उसके बिहेवियर के ऊपर ही उसके रिएक्शन जो मूवमेंट होगा उसके ऊपर आपका जो फर्दर कोऑपरेशन है वो वहाँ पे डिपेंड करेगा। तो मेनली उसने ये चीजें आज के उसमें टॉपिक में बताई जो मैंने आपको सारांश बताया है। बट यहाँ पे एक चीज जो मैं और ऐड करना चाहूँगा वो ये है कि ये जो कॉम्बिनेशंस जो उन्होंने बताया है, हेलो हेलो, ये जो कोऑपरेशन बिटवीन द डिस्टर्बेंस आ रही है कुछ, कोऑपरेशन जो बिटवीन द प्लेयर्स बताया है ये ग्रुप कॉम्बिनेशंस है। हमेशा ये प्री प्लान्ड होंगे, प्री डिसाइडेड होते हैं। जो प्लेयर्स इन्वॉल्व हैं उनको उसके बारे में मालूम होना चाहिए कब हमने कौन सा कॉम्बिनेशन अप्लाई करना है। उन्होंने टर्म्स यूज अलग किया, जैसे मिस्टर महेंद्र ने बताया कि हम यूज करते हैं यहाँ पे रन फ्री ऑन पोजिशन, रन फ्री अदर पोजिशन, पोजिशन चेंज एंड द स्क्रीन। तो उन्होंने सिर्फ टर्म अलग यूज किए। अदरवाइज जो ये इंडिविजुअल कैपेसिटी के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है सारा, आपकी एथलेटिक एबिलिटी मीन्स थ्रोइंग एबिलिटी है, जंपिंग एबिलिटी है, ओके। उसके बाद आपका टेक्निकल लेवल कितना है, पास द हाउ टू मेक ए लॉन्ग पास, हाउ टू गो फॉर द फेंट, आपने डिपेंड करेगा कि डायरेक्शंस पास की कहाँ पे है, डिस्टेंस के हिसाब से कौन सा पास देना है, आपकी पोजीशन और जिस प्लेयर को पास करना उसकी पोजीशंस क्या है। उसके बाद मोरल और यहाँ पे साइकोलॉजिकल एबिलिटीज जो है वो भी काफ़ी कंट्रीब्यूट करेंगे। तो ये मेनली जो कोऑपरेशन है वो प्लेयर्स का जो इंडिविजुअल लेवल है उसके ऊपर डिपेंड करेगा, सक्सेस जो आपके ग्रुप की डिपेंड करेगी इंडिविजुअल के ऊपर। सो आज के उनके लेसन का यही सार है। आई थिंक शायद मैं कोशिश की आपको उसको क्लियर करने की, जो उन्होंने आपको बताया हिंदी में सार करने की बताने की कोशिश की। फिर भी अगर कोई डाउट है तो आप यू कैन आस्क। हाँ भाई, ओवर टू मिस्टर मैगर।
Thank you, Mr. CP, for explaining in Hindi. I think our coaches must understood. So, मैं एक इसमें CP सर की उसमें एक बात ऐड कर रहा हूँ कि जब भी हम अटैक करते हैं उसने जैसे बोला है कि देयर शुड बी 2 triangle, 1 triangle towards the ball side and 1 triangle towards the without ball side. तो जैसे उसने एक डायग्राम आपको दिखाई थी स्टिल में कि 7-4 ROP, फिर उसके बाद पीपी ने विंग को स्क्रीन किया और सेंटर पे रन किया और बॉल लिया, जैसे कि ये मैं आपको दिखा रहा हूँ, शायद आपको विजिबल हो। तो these are the 2 triangles, one on ball side, one on without ball. So giving more area in the center where the PP is running to receive the ball. अगर इसी पोजीशन में 2 का प्लेयर अंदर आ गया, अगर लेफ्ट राइट बैक अंदर आ जाए या प्ले मेकर अंदर चला जाए या विंग अंदर रन करके आ जाए, तो जो उसने पीपी का बॉल दिखाया है वो पॉसिबल नहीं है। सो उसका कहने का मतलब है कि जब भी आप कोई स्मॉल कॉम्बिनेशन करते हैं, मे बी आरओपी आरएपी, you have to keep the empty space in the center, so no other player will intervene, run without any aim, so there should be a aim. So आप भी हम भी जब बच्चों को ट्राई करेंगे, चाहे वो सीनियर लेवल है चाहे जूनियर लेवल है, कि वी विल ट्राई टू कीप 2 ट्राइंगल्स। सो जो बैक हैं वो साइड लाइन की तरफ चले जाएंगे, 2 जो है बिल्कुल साइड लाइन के पास, 3 भी उसको प्ले मेकर भी उसके साथ चला जाएगा जब हम 4 और 7 से और पीपी से गोल करवाना है। जब हम इधर से गोल करवाना है तो जो 4 है वो साइड में चला जाएगा, जो 7 है वो डीप विंग में चला जाएगा, जो 3 है वो 4 वाली साइड पे आ जाएगा। सो ऑलवेज कीप स्पेस इन द मिडल एरिया। सो थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर लिसनिंग। I think you understand all. You are also experienced coaches, and young coaches also too intelligent. So thank you very much. See you tomorrow. Have a good day, please. Now we are going to stop the meeting and the meeting. Thank you.